putting these puzzles together. Consider this. When you reduce your water usage, recycle or support sustainable products like buying of biodegradable plastic, you are contributing to goal 12, which is the responsible consumption and production, and goal 6, which is what? Clean water and sanitation, among others. It's about recognizing that our everyday choices, no matter how small, have a ripple effect. Now, let's engage in a discussion. How do you see the sustainable development goals intertwining with our team today? Feel free to share your thoughts and questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to include them in our conversation. Now it's time for a truly inspiring presentation by esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Sefa Awens, who will shed light on the profound significance of individual actions in sustainability, enriched by real-life example and sustainable actions. So before Mr. Sefan will give us his speech, I would like us to know that I would like to read a little profile about Mr. Sefa Awen. Mr. Sefan Awen is a dedicated professional who serves as the program manager of the SDGs-AP Health and Gender Development Initiative, with a passion for improving life and fostering positive changes. Sefan plays a pivotal role in overseeing and implementing programs that address health and gender-related issues in community. Additionally, Sefan Awen is known for his role as the host of Fix It with Sefan Awen, a platform where they leverage their expertise and compassion to discuss and find solutions to pressing societal challenges. Their commitment to promoting health and gender equality is evident in their work, making them a respected figure in the field. Sefan's unwavering dedication to creating a better world through their initiative and advocacy has a profound impact on the community they serve. So, Mr. Sefan, we are so glad to have you here, and over to you to share with us your insight and experience. Hello, Mr. Sefan. Hello. Okay. It seems like our guest is just went offline.
Our guest is having a little network issue. So meanwhile, in the meantime, we will introduce ourselves in the comment section. Meanwhile, while we wait for his network to come back up.
Okay. Well, so let's moving on before Mr. Sefan joins us. Let's just quickly move to another section.
Hello, everybody.
Wow, Mr. Sefan, it's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you very much. Sorry about that. A call came through to my phone, and it's kind of disrupted me in transmission.
Okay, no problem.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I heard you last asking a question before that call came in. Sorry, do you mind reading me out the question again?
Okay, it wasn't really a question. It's about the participants engaging on the chat.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And I just read. Well, let me just continue. Let me just continue from where I stopped. I was introducing you to us, yes, about your initiatives.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you very much for doing that.
It's over to you for your presentation now, sir.
All right. All right. If I heard you clearly, you said we're focusing on 2 SDGs.
No, I was making insights on the SDG, like sustainable actions that people can carry out. Take, for example, I was giving them a situation whereby if you reduce water usage, recycle, or support sustainable products, you are contributing to goal 12 and goal 6. So it's just a citation, like an example.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for that. So I have a few things I would like us to understand while we begin this. First of all, who doesn't understand the concept of SDG first? Let me know so that I'll know how best to go about this. And I would like for us to feel free as we interact, because this is going to be a very interactive session. Don't hold back on asking questions. If you have questions, please kindly ask. I'll try as much as possible to attend to all the questions that come at me. And if you have any contribution to make as well, I would appreciate it if you put it forward, just so that we'll keep this interaction very, very open and people will contribute as much as they can. I don't want to be the one doing all the talking. It's not a sustainable way of getting to pass information across. So we need to be interacting, sharing information so that we'll all learn today. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
It's very okay.
Okay, fine. So who does not understand the concept of SDG first? Then who understands? And this is me testing your knowledge now. Please feel free to speak as you. Are we together?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay, so I asked if anybody has a knowledge of what SDG is about. The person should help us share so that we'll use that to set a tone for this conversation.
Okay, a few of us here have some ideas about SDGs.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's okay for us, the SDG advocates, to also put in our input. I don't know how you want to go about it.
Please, just give me what you have. I don't mind.
Okay, so SDGs are Sustainable Development Goals that are designed by the United Nations to ensure the sustainability of resources. They ensure that we use the planet and still preserve it for future generations.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much for that. Now, what you said is going to be the crux of our discussion today. Now, SDG is quite encompassing. It's large. And we don't have a lot of time to discuss vividly what SDG really is. But as much as possible, we'll try to share the few ideas we have and give the general knowledge of what SDG is about. Then that way, we're able to go back and do some more researches and become advocates of these SDGs. I tried developing slides for this, but I'm not quite done. So not to worry. I will share the slides at the end of this training sometime today or tomorrow morning so that all the participants can get a hold of them, and that will help to also become a reference document for you. Is that okay?
All right, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, we are together, and that's very fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now, the concept of SDGs refers to a set of 17 global goals adopted by the UN, like we said earlier, in September of 2015. That would be about 8 years ago. Now, as part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, now SDGs are designed to address a wide range of social, economic, environmental challenges facing the world and provide a framework for countries, organizations like yours and mine, and individuals like you and I to work together towards a more sustainable and equitable future. This is what I said earlier. And that is the entire gist of
Okay, I think that was a network bridge there.
Yes, I believe it's a network bridge network. So while we wait for his network to bounce back, I will use the privilege to maybe share some of his details in the comment section. I'll share his profile and I will share some of the social media links so that some of us that wants to engage with him beyond this webinar can still have access to him.
That was excellent. So moving forward, let's discuss the practical part of this our section. The simple, everyday, eco-friendly action. That
hello,
okay,
everybody.
He's back. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of network issues here. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Understood.
Okay, so I was talking about what SDG encompasses, and SDG has got a few key elements. The whole concept of SDG has a few key elements. I would like for some of us to list them if we know them. If we don't, it's fine. We'll just continue. Are we together?
Yes, hello. What was your question again?
Okay, I'm saying SDG has a few key elements that make the whole concept what it is. So do we know what they are? I would like for us to list them if you know. If you don't, it's still fine. I'll just go ahead and explain what they are.
Okay, maybe you can just tell us.
Okay, fine. Now,
yes,
key elements of the concept of SDGs are one, like we said in the introductory part. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay, fine. So one of the key elements of SDGs are global goals. Remember that in as much as we are discussing SDG here and now, the impact is supposed to be global. That's to say the SDGs are global in nature, meaning they are not limited to one country or region. So they are intended to be universally applicable and relevant to all nations, regardless of their level of development. And also, another element is 2030 agenda. That is to say that the SDG as part of 2030 agenda for sustainable development, which is commitment by all 193 member states of the United Nations to take committed action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all by the year 2030, which means there's a timeline, right? Judging by this, we're in 2023. By 2030, the world should have experienced lesser hunger, especially in those 193 countries that are member states of UN. So if we work together as a country, as a continent, as individuals, as communities, by 2030, the effect of poverty would have reduced. The planet would have been more protected, and then would have ensured that prosperity is certain by that year. So there's a timeline, right? There's also the element of comprehensive approach. Now, I noted earlier that the SDGs are 17 in number. Are we aware of this?
we are.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. That's 17 in number. And these 17 SDGs cover a wide range of issues, including poverty, hunger, health, education, gender, equality, clean water, affordable and clean energy, climate action, and more. Now, the interconnected and recognize that addressing one issue often
Hello,
has implications
excuse me.
for others.
Hello, excuse me. Hello, excuse
Okay.
me.
Yes.
Yes, if you can share your screen, it would have enabled us to start some of these points.
No,
I
I
don't know.
tried doing that, but network will not let me. That's one, and I have to start using my phone. My laptop was not connecting to internet, just issues. So by the end of this session, I will share this slide. Is that okay?
All right, go ahead. Thank you.
No, please, let's just enjoy. I'll try to be as clear as possible. But I'll share my slides with you all so that you can also go back to it. Are we together?
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Okay, fine. Or let me. Okay. So now we're talking about comprehensive approach. So one SDG always has implication for others, which means you cannot do one and leave the other out. If you are tackling the issue of health, for instance, and you don't think about the issue of hunger, now people chop food, now go they healthy. Are we together? And now person where gets we no poor, now we get money to chop food or go hospital when you sick. So these are the issues we need to be looking at. SDG that intertwined. One does not go without the other. So I'm just setting place for this. So as we are thinking about SDGs, you understand that they are all interconnected. Now, another element is that it is not supposed to leave anyone behind. A key principle of the SDG is to leave no one behind. This means that efforts should be made to reach the most vulnerable and marginalized populations to ensure that progress is inclusive and benefits everyone, regardless of their social and economic status. I will say this again. One of the key principles of SDG is to ensure that no one is left behind. All efforts should be made to reach the most vulnerable and marginalized populations to ensure that progress is inclusive and benefits everyone, regardless of their social and economic status. This is to say that SDG is targeted or is targeting individuals or communities or countries that are most vulnerable. That's why the issues of SDG is tilting towards Africa more than any other continent, as far as I know. So, and when it comes to this level, we are supposed to go down to the lowest level. Those people in our communities, the people in our villages, the ones on our streets that are homeless. What are we going to do collectively to ensure that they are not hungry, they are not poor, they are healthy? Are they schooled? These are the issues we need to face. If you are talking about the issues of going to school, it's only when somebody has a means of livelihood they are able to afford education at the lowest level. Educations are not necessarily free. So, and to achieve this, we must partner. I am here talking to you about SDG because I'm partnering with you guys. That's why I'm talking about SDG. That means we have to come together to ensure that every collaboration and partnership among governments, businesses, civil society organizations, and individuals are explored. We cannot begin to say one person alone can handle things. We cannot sit down and start saying, okay, the issues of security or hunger should be left to the government alone. The government alone cannot do all of these things. So we must always be exploring the ideas of partnerships to ensure that we are going with a force to ensure that the issues of SDGs are met when the time is due, which is 2030. Now, data monitoring is also part of it. We have to create a robust system for monitoring progress towards SDGs. That's to say that as we're implementing from whatever level, both individual level, organizational level, or community level, there must be a database. You will record progress. How far have we gone with education? How far have we gone with poverty? How far have we gone with security? How far have we gone with the issues of waste management? We need to be able to put up data so that if somebody is coming in to say, okay, this community, let me see what you've done. This organization, let me see what you've done with SDG. There should be a database there where we're able to pull out those information. And then regular reporting and data collection are crucial to assess how countries and international community are progressing towards the goals. There must be reporting done, either at the organizational level, individual level, because if you are telling me by mouth that you have done this, I will, it doesn't matter who you are, I have to be able to see a document to back up your claims. And this reporting comes with maybe it comes with pictures, it comes with attendance, it comes with the report contains all of this attendance and pictures I've mentioned as proof of how progress has been made. Am I being too fast?
No, your progress is fine.
Okay, fine. So, universality. Yeah, we're talking about SDGs not just being set goals for developing countries. All countries are expected to work towards their achievements, taking into account their own capacities and levels of development. If you look at Nigeria, for instance, some SDGs may be weaker than others in progress. So while we're trying to look into the issues of SDGs, attention should be focused more on those that are weak. That does not mean that the ones that are strong will be ignored. And the countries that also achieve a very great level of SDGs, they cannot also wake up and say, no, okay, at this point we have gone this far, we have conquered this thing, so let's just do it. It does not work like that. It is a continuous effort collectively that keeps us away from poverty, away from the issues of education. So every country comes together to ensure that this is achieved. So in the country, I'm not looking at the government organizations, I'm looking at the individual organizations and the non-governmental organizations. We all have to work together so that we're able to achieve our goals as Wendy. Now, sustainability is an issue that we must not forget at all. In whatever you are doing, one question you ask is this sustainable? If it is not, then you're already planning to fail. So sustainability there means that if you are going to a community to go and tackle the issues of education, if you give them money, for instance, to pay school fees and buy books, when next they run out of books, what is going to happen? Are they going to be able to take care of buying books by themselves? Are they going to take care of other educational needs they require? So sustainability is speaking to self-reliance. Are community self-reliance? Are they been able to have the effect of poverty reduced to a great extent? So this is to say sustainability is one issue that we must consider at the beginning of every plan we are doing on SDGs. So that wherever we carry it and stop, we are not discussing that, oh, after we stop there, we could not move forward. On its own, it was moving forward while we are focusing on other areas. This includes environmental sustainability, responsible resource management. Are we together?
That's together.
Are we together? Is there any questions?
No questions, sir. I think the question will come after you finish, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, I will just list out the 17 SDGs so that you keep it in mind. And it's just right that I do that. You might have known it, but permit me to mention it. So that as we go forward in our discussion, you may want to ask questions as regards. Number 1 is no poverty. Number 2, zero hunger. 3, good health and well-being. 4, quality education. Quality education. Gender equality. Clean water and sanitation. Affordable and clean energy. Decent work and economic growth. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure as the 9th one. Reduced inequality as the 10th one. Then there's sustainable cities and communities. responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Partnership for all the goals. If you notice how this is listed, there's a web that ties all of it. And one of it stands to be very, very strong. And that's the 16th SDG, the one that talks about peace, justice, and strong institution. We may succeed in implementing programs that strengthen all of these SDGs until we get to number 16. It is only when there is peace in a community, in a country, that the 15 behind it will thrive. If there's no peace, we will not be able to achieve any of that. Even if we have gone far, when there is conflict, development ceases. Look at the issue of, or the case of Russia and Ukraine. There has been a whole lot of destruction that has been happening since they began having conflict. By the time this is over, those countries, especially Ukraine, will almost go back to square one, starting to develop all over again. There's poverty in that country. There are issues of health. Education is almost crumbled. And water and sanitation, we can't begin to discuss that because the whole place is in rowdiness. So if we don't have peace in place, if there's no justice, and importantly, if there are no institutions, strong institutions to ensure that all of this works, we will not have gone anywhere with it. Now, there's justice there because, even at the organizational level, we tend to set, we have policies that guide organizations. Now, these policies are supposed to ensure that things run smoothly in these organizations, and breaking them means that we are living like savages. So we are working with all of these SDGs. If there are no institutions to back them up, to keep them running, we are just joking. We are not doing anything at all. So while we are looking at the issues of gender equality, for instance, if we're talking about mouth only, we only talk, we go talk. We go talk, no action will be done. So at our organizational level, what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to have policies that speak to issues of gender equality, speak to issues of reduced inequality, and amongst other SDGs you might be implementing, you must have policies that ensure that with or without you, it is running. Okay. Then partnerships for all the goals. That's just to say that one is always tied to the other. You cannot work on one and leave the other out. The moment you begin to implement on one, we don't tackle the rest, you are particularly not doing anything, because you end up causing more problems. And then you have to go and start all over again. So that's just to give you a highlight of what the SDGs are supposed to do. Now, the SDGs encompasses a wide range of interconnected issues. Poverty is tied with inequality. SDG 1, no poverty, and SDG 10, reduce inequality, are closely related. Poverty is not just about income, it's also about access to resources. You would agree with me that, especially in our country, a good number of the citizens of Nigeria have little or no access to resources that will help the reduction of poverty. So if we're not looking at issues of poverty and talking about inequality at the same time, we are joking. So poverty is not just about income, it's about access to resources and opportunities and social services. When you are ill and you go to the hospital, do you get treated first before you are being asked for money, or money is being asked first before you get treated? What happens when that money does not transport? These are the issues we need to consider while we are looking at SDG 1 and SDG 10. So addressing poverty often involves reducing inequality, ensuring marginalized populations have equal access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Now, health and education, which is SDG 4, SDG 3, good health and well-being, and SDG 4, quality education, go hand in hand. They're interconnected. Good health is essential for learning, and education is crucial for spreading health knowledge and promoting healthy behaviors. It is who is healthy that will be going to school. A sick person is incapable of sitting and learning. So if we're talking about good health and we're talking about education, we must ensure that education and health go side by side. Why are we building schools and not having hospitals close by? These are things that we need to consider during the implementation or enforcement of SDGs. Education can also lead to better employment prospects and ultimately provide improved health outcomes. Also, climate action and environmental sustainability. That's SDG 13, climate action, and SDG 15, life on land, and SDG 14, life below water, highlight the importance of protecting the environment. Because normally, what we do is after we, for instance, want to dispose of our waste, we go and dispose of this waste inside of the water, river. So when you dispose this waste inside the river, where does it go? It probably leaves your community and goes to the next community. If they also push it, where does it go? It's not like the water will just make it vanquish somehow. It goes somewhere. Now it's affecting the life underwater as well. So if we think you have done away with waste in your house that is disposing inside of River BENUE, somebody else is going to harbor it. And that person too may do the same. At the end of the day, we will just bring all of this back to where it started from. Or somebody is disposing somewhere else and is coming to your own community. So that's not sustainable. So we must be able to understand that these issues are intertwined, are linked. Climate change affects ecosystems on land and in water. And the biodiversity is critical for climate regulation. Ensuring a healthy planet is essential for achieving our goals, such as eradicating poverty and hunger. Now, gender equality and economic growth, SDG 5 and SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth, are interlinked. Gender equality is not just a matter of human rights. It's also about smart economics. Empowering women and ensuring their full participation in labor force can boost economic growth and reduce poverty. If you come down to our homes, I'm sure we all have this mission, especially in our own local communities, that women are very good managers. Give them money to delve into businesses. They know what to do to increase that money. In my organization, we are doing a program for women like that. Here we do what we call cash transfers. These cash transfers are supposed to help women support their businesses. We give them these monies if their businesses are struggling, for them to support themselves and ensure that business does not crumble. Because if it crumbles, I will now be saddled with the responsibility of going to go and fend for them. I don't want to do that. There are a whole lot of women out there that I'm looking out for. I cannot start looking out for them every now and then. So what did I do? I brought a sustainable plan. This plan is to set up business for women and those who are doing business to strengthen their businesses, so that when I'm not there, they are not looking for me to tell me they are hungry or they are sick, they need to go to the hospital. Their businesses will be able to cater for them, no matter how small. So that is what gender equality and economic growth is about. You must be able to involve women, because involving them increases economic growth and reduces poverty. I hope I'm not being too fast. All right.
No, sir, you're fine.
Partnership for the goals, which is the last SDG, recognizes the need for cooperation at all levels: local, national, global. We must all work together. Effective partnerships and collaboration among governments, civil society, the private sector, and international organizations are essential for achieving all SDGs. In essence, the SDGs recognize that addressing any one of these global challenges requires a holistic approach. We are going at them at the same time. We are not going at one and leaving the other. We are all taking it at the same time. If we are taking SDG 1, we are taking 2, 3, down to the last one. So this holistic approach means taking into account the interconnectedness. Achieving progress in one area can have a positive ripple effect across others, and failing to address one can undermine progress in several others. I will read that again. Achieving progress in one area can have a positive ripple effect across others. And failing to address one can undermine progress in several others. This interconnectedness is at the heart of the SDGs and underscores the importance of a coordinated and sustainable approach to global development. All this English I'm speaking here, what I'm trying to say in essence is we cannot do one and leave the other out. As we are taking one, we are taking the next, and all the rest. So if you have achieved success in one, it may have a ripple effect on the others, positive ripple effect on the others. And if you fail to address one, it can also have a negative ripple effect on the others. So we must be very careful as we implement. Now, individually, as persons, what are we supposed to do to ensure that these SDGs are in play and running? Individually, you as a person in your house, in your community, in your village, when you are having meetings in your organization, what are you supposed to do? When you go, for those of you that, as you are going to go and do party this evening, what do people discuss? On Sundays when you hang out, what do people discuss? You cannot keep discussing women all the time for the guys. We must discuss SDGs more times than others. So as we're having these discussions, we are bringing into our consciousness that there are issues on ground that we need to delve into. We can't keep complaining. Every time we're complaining about the government not doing one thing or the other, forgetting that we are also the government. So if you become a leader tomorrow, the others who are not leaders will be complaining to you as well. Is that how to solve the problem? My answer is no. So as individuals, we must begin by doing awarenesses and advocacies. Individuals can inform themselves and others about SDGs, spreading knowledge about the goals and the importance. I can bet to you that most people don't even know what we're talking about, say, SDGs. By the time we bring this up, they do not even know where or how or what we're discussing. It's almost as though it's just we in the NGO sector that have this discussion. And then maybe some government organizations as well, also because of inclusion or involvement, they have an idea about it. But it shouldn't be so. It's a discussion everyone of us should be having because it affects us all. So we can start raising awareness amongst ourselves about SDGs, spreading knowledge about the goals and their importance. We can do that individually. We can also do advocacy. People can advocate for SDGs by engaging with the communities, local representatives, governments, encouraging them to prioritize and work towards achieving the goals. When you meet up with your House of Assembly members, when you meet up with your chiefs, when you meet up with your House of Rep members and senators, what are you telling them? That is the questions we need to start asking ourselves. When we meet them, what are we discussing with them? These people have a modus operandi that's supposed to be operating some type of way. So if you are not bringing these things to them, they are likely not going to do anything about it. So their job is to be there to ensure they happen. Your job is to push them to do it. So advocacies, visit them, sit down, discuss everything, engage with your community leaders, engage with your religious leaders, engage with your local representatives and government, engage with them all about SDGs. That's how you do an advocacy and you create an awareness. Now, responsible consumption and lifestyle. We are talking about sustainable consumption. Individuals can make choices and promote sustainable consumption, such as reducing waste, encouraging the proper buying of most of these products that have polythene, leather bags. That's what you find mostly in our country, especially pure water. You find this pure water, somebody drinks water and throws it away just anywhere because we have never began discussing the issues of proper waste management. And somebody is driving, just rolls down their window and then throws away a bottled water container. All of those things they are not good at all. So if we're encouraging and promoting consumption and lifestyle, sustainable consumption, we are discussing issues of waste reduction. First of all, what are we buying? How are we buying them? Some of us feel buying those packaged stuff are not level. It's level, but after consumption, how do you dispose them? That's where the issue comes from. What about conserving resources? What about buying products with eco-friendly labels. So we need to be looking into those areas as individuals, because by the time one person is doing this, the next person is doing it, 10 people are doing it, you discover that other people are emulating them, and it has a positive ripple effect. Now, energy efficiency, reducing energy consumption at home, using energy efficient appliances such as those energy bulbs helps a whole lot. There's been a massive improvement on that. Most homes settle for energy saving bulbs these days, which has been helping to conserve climate. So, but we still have a lot of work to do on that, because those bulbs tend to be a little bit expensive. There are cheaper ones too, but people may not know it, especially those who have issues of income. But there are cheaper ones. Some even go for as low as 300 naira, 500 naira, and they are quite, they last long. They are quite good. So we need to look at the issues of reducing energy consumption. If you are leaving your homes and going to work, do you turn off your lights? That's one thing we need to look at. As you're leaving your home, consider putting off your lights, because it's even dangerous. Most of us don't have those circuit breakers where when energy comes into the house and it's too much, the light goes off. We don't have it, and those things also fail. And that's why we have issues of people having their house getting burnt down because of electricity most of the time. So please, as you go out of your house every day and there's no one at home, kindly switch off the power. Now, who there will use lights? When you go to work, you can use the power over there. So we need to look at the issues of energy efficiency. So also switching to renewable energy resources can contribute to SDG-7, affordable and clean energy, and 13, climate action. So that's why you find most people going for solar these days. It's very sustainable to use. Nobody's burning fuel, nobody's burning gas to produce energy. The sun produces the energy. So as individuals, you can consider going for those efficient energy appliances. Now, volunteering and community engagement means that getting involved in local volunteer initiatives that support SDG-related causes, such as environmental conservation, poverty alleviation, or education, can make a tangible difference. In BENUE, a whole lot of organizations do environmental conservation activities. You can volunteer with them to help them, maybe draw them into your own community and help them teach you how to keep the community and conserve the environment. There's also a group in BENUE that I know about, BENUE Hybrid. They have a conservation organization where they do activities on environmental conservation. So you can become part of groups like that and push for causes of environmental conservation. So we also look at poverty alleviation, education in these areas can make tangible difference. Community projects such as participating in community cleanups, tree planting, and food drives can have a direct impact on local sustainability efforts. Are there any questions so far? Are there any questions so far?
No questions now, and I would advise for people that cannot really come up to ask their questions, they can as well leave the questions in the comment section, and it will be addressed. We get to.
Very well. So when those questions come, please just read them out to me so that I will be able to attend to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, because we are rushing and we don't have a lot of time on our hands, I'm just brushing so that I will not be reading verbatim what I have in front of me. I'm just trying to explain some of these things, and I know that things you already know, but you may not have thought about it in the light in which I'm speaking. So as we are speaking, just think about your immediate environment and how you can improve on some of these things. Little actions like buying bulbs, energy conserving bulbs at home, you are already doing the whole sustainable development goals business. So by the time you're taking care of your house as an individual, you are also contributing to a global effect or a global turnaround on this SDG. If by 2030, we are not using generators anymore, we all go into using solar, we would have done a whole lot. So as we are progressing in life, we also try to think towards adopting best practices around the world of conserving energy. Now, as we go about all of this, there's this part of we learn, we unlearn, and we relearn. The things we know, the things we learn, we now have to beat them and learn new things, become better. Because education and lifelong learning which is SDG 4, speaking about quality education, pursuing education not only benefits individuals, but also contributes to that SDG. 4, sharing knowledge and skills with others can empower individuals and communities. The same one here, sharing knowledge with 2 people today. You can also do this by sharing knowledge and our skills with our fellow colleagues, with our staff, with our family members, with our community members on how best to manage waste, how best to manage conserve energy. You can, share information on what trees are better for planting and all of that. This way, when everybody is now planting the trees in their houses, you see that the effect becomes positively ripple. Then we are contributing to that. Now, ethical investment and financial choices. Consider ethical and socially responsible investment options that support companies and initiatives aligned with SDGs. There are these companies or organizations that are focused on doing. I have a friend that does what's it called again? Is it manure? Is it manure? Is called fertilizer. He does fertilizer. Only he does. It's not the one you go and buy. It does organic fertilizer. How does it do this? It goes to abattoirs, collects waste from cow dung, takes it back to his factory, does his magic on it, and at the end of the day, you see that he has an eco-friendly fertilizer. This is very, very effective. So people who do those kind of things, who encourage tree planting, who plant economic trees around. Some people will not want to plant trees because they'll be like, and what this tree will do for me? But there are others that plant economic trees. Now, there are also these people around that sell all these dwarf seedlings for trees now. Or when you plant for you don't have to wait for it to go too tall before it starts yielding fruits. There are these dwarf pawpaw that produce a whole lot of fruits. You must have seen those around, pawpaw, guava, and all of that. If you are thinking that tree planting takes forever to grow, the trend has changed. There are a lot of trees that grow as fast as average chickens these days. All you have to do is just know who has them or share information with people and you get them and plant in your houses. It helps a lot. Also, consider financial choices. To support businesses that have environmentally and socially responsible practices by not driving them out of the communities. Because you're not the one doing that business, you feel, this person cannot be here. You now find a way to chase them out. Then it takes years, there's no impact. You are not doing the business as well. And that person's being there, or that business being there was yielding positively to the community. So we need to also look beyond our personal gains, that this is global. It affects us all one way or another. So promoting gender equality and inclusivity. The individuals can challenge gender stereotypes and promote gender equality in their personal and professional lives. Every day, in the meeting today, we're also discussing that the issue of gender equality is robust. And I have gotten to understand that around this part, most people don't really understand what gender equality means. The issue is a war between the men and the women. But that is not even what that is about at all. It's just about ensuring that as much opportunities as men get, women should also have access to those opportunities. Is there education? Is there access to jobs? Women should also be given avenues to function as much as they can to explore their potential, not subjecting them to kitchens and to the bedrooms and all of that. So we must promote gender equality as much as we can. So that is that. Now, as we advocate for sustainable transportation, we should know that this will also speak to SDG 13 and SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities and climate action. All for public transportation, carpooling, cycling or walking to reduce carbon emissions and alleviate traffic congestion. In the Western world, people who are billionaires take trains to work, or they take public buses to work. having a car is not a show of wealth. Yeah, we feel having a car is a show of wealth. Now there are a lot of emissions from cars these days. Two people live in the same neighborhood, or 4 or 5 of them, they work in the same vicinity. In the morning they're going to work, they are all driving their cars. When one person can say, okay, this week I'll take us to work and bring us back. Next week, the next person will do that. The other week, the other person follows suit, and the other person follows suit. You know, it reduces cost for you. Then there's less emission, less cars on the road, less accidents. So by the time you opt for these options, you have been able to speak to sustainable cities and communities, less emission and less climate implications. So carpooling simply means joining a ride with somebody and people are sharing the cost. If you are ordering boats, for instance, people are going the same direction, both is say 2,000 to go to that vicinity or destination. Both of us are going there. What are we going to do? 2,000, I will share the cost. I pay 1K, pay 1K. Now we don't have 2 cars coming to pick us up. We have 1 car coming to pick both of us up. Less emission. What about reducing food waste? You have to start making sustainable food choices by reducing food waste, supporting local and sustainable agriculture, and choosing products with environmentally friendly packaging. Digital engagement and innovation. Online activism, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. The things people talk about on Facebook and social media is crazy. Every day people are dragging each other, they are fighting, putting somebody down, and we are leaving the real issues we actually should be advocating for. We don't discuss these issues. We just let them out there. We feel like somebody somewhere should be discussing it. While people are on there on social media, you are not having meaningful conversations at all. You are either caught up in one dragging or one scandal or the other. Why are we not having these discussions online? So you can use social media to drive for causes. You can use your digital platforms to advocate for SDGs. If you have a website, you have to start considering doing that. If you have a blog, start considering doing that. Some of you have thousands and thousands of followers. Imagine if you see you talking about SDGs. That means you are reaching out to a whole lot of thousands of people, and they start picking up on this trace from you online. It doesn't have to be physical. Just by you talking about it, people are learning, and then globally, they are contributing to the drive for SDGs. Now, you can also think about holding governments and organizations accountable. Some of you work in organizations where they are contributing to environmental degradation, but you don't say anything because that's where you earn your monthly pay. So you don't think there's a problem. You start talking, they'll say, now you're the work with yourself, so you can keep quiet. It doesn't work like that. You can drive for certain actions peacefully without issues. So think about this as we move forward. Now, participating in democratic processes, such as voting for leaders and voting for policies that align with SDGs. Don't be voting for people because they want to come and give you money. Vote for people who will be able to sustain our environment. You engage with them, civil society organizations, engage in community meetings, discussions to voice concerns and contribute to decision making. These are the things you should be driving for. Don't be voting for an incompetent person because they are your brother or they are your family members. No. So there are small actions that we as individuals can do. You know, this whole talk we're having is about what? It's about the small actions, how the small actions matter. So we've been talking about a few of them, but I'll still list out a few quickly for your consumption. One of them is reducing single-use plastics. Using reusable shopping bags, water bottles, and coffee cups helps a lot. Conserving energy and water. Turning off lights and appliances when not in use. Fixing leaks and using energy-efficient appliances helps a lot. I was talking earlier about turning off the lights when you leave the house. Sustainable transportation. Walking, some distances are very short. You don't have to drive there. You can just take a walk. If you have a bike, you can use your bike. Or you can carpool as you are going to work, like we talked about in the last few minutes. Or using public transportation instead of driving alone. These days, with the way our economy is in Nigeria, driving alone is expensive. Most people have sold their cars. They've gone back to using public transport. Myself, even before now, I asked myself one day that with the kind of money, the income I have, I don't earn a lot of money. Why am I using the car? It was costing me too much to be in the car. I sold it. I found a cheaper means of transporting myself. I either carpool or I take public transport. It's as simple as that. Whatever anybody thinks is their business. I'm doing what is best for me, as a matter of fact. So you can start thinking about sustainable transportation, walking short distances, using bicycles, or other ones you cannot walk for so long to reduce the effect of on your finances, as a matter of fact. And you can also support sustainable food choices, choosing locally sourced and organic food, seasonal food, and reducing meat consumption. Meat and enjoyment on this part, but quite frankly, they are not, because when we start asking for meat all the time, it means that those who are going to hunt have to go and burn bushes to get all those rats we eat, or to get all those animals who actually, or that actually contribute to some of these environment integrations. So by the time we kill them and eat them, which squirrel or which rabbit is now planting seeds where they forget for trees to grow. These are the small actions.
Yes, we're right here and we can hear you very well.
Okay. So I was saying that we can consider supporting sustainable food choices. Now we can also start reducing waste by practicing recycling. So I saw people making comments online that those packs we buy, those disposable packs we buy, because they are tagged disposable packs, after you say we should dispose of them. No, you can, as a matter of fact, recycle them. All you have to do is wash them. They are disposable not to you. They are disposable to the vendors, because they cannot give you their glass plates they use to serve customers. So they buy those packs so that when you come and you're in a hurry, you easily buy your food in those packs and you go away with them. Then when you go away with them, you can also wash and keep. A friend of mine, when he lost his dad, he had bought food in takeaway packs so much that he didn't need to buy them for his father's burial because he had over 1,000 of them. He kept washing and keeping over the years. And he used them when that time came. It even helped to reduce cost on him. So you can start practicing recycling, composting, and reducing packaging waste. So another one is energy efficient homes, installing LED bulbs, proper installation, and smart thermostats to reduce energy consumptions. Am I speaking clearly?
We can hear you. You can hear you very, very well.
Okay. If I'm taking too much time at some point, please just let me know. Somebody else.
Very well.
Do you have another speaker on this? Hello, Roger.
What was the question?
Do we
Hello,
have? Am I the only speaker on this, or we have another speaker? Am I taking too much time?
Hear you. We can hear you loud and clear from here.
You are the only speaker for this. But
okay, I'm only speaker for
this. Yes, but we'll have to give some time for question and answer series.
Okay, yes, I have that in consideration. So this is supposed to end by what time?
4:30.
So we have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So impact amplification. This means that when we do all these small eco-friendly actions, when adopted by a larger number of people, and it did lead to a powerful cumulative effect. If all of us decide to start doing the small things I mentioned earlier, like practicing recycling, composting, using energy saving bulbs, proper installation, conserving energy, and turning off lights at home. By the time we are all doing this individually and separately, it will have a cumulative effect, because around the world, everybody is practicing the same thing, the effects will now become cumulative and bigger. If you mostly at night, I don't know if people go about at night a lot. If you look at town at night, you will see that some areas have those energy bulbs, those white bulbs, and then now see small those red bulbs that are not considered energy saving bulbs. So that's just to tell you that now everybody is now moving towards using those bulbs. So by the time we all start using those energy saving bulbs, you see that cumulatively we must have conquered a problem. So that's how this impact gets amplified, right? So and that concept is often referred to as the butterfly effect, where small actions can have a far-reaching and significant consequence. Here's how this phenomenon works, which is crucial in the context of environmental sustainability, right? So reduce resource consumption, lower greenhouse gas emissions, small actions like carpooling, biking, I talked about earlier, consumer influence, and yes, consumer influence and supporting companies who do the some of the SDGs to thrive is also very impactful when we are discussing the issues of SDG. So I'm sure that by now you must have gotten the whole gist of SDG. See, all this English I'm speaking, it doesn't go past these small actions I just mentioned. All the English I've been speaking so far, because it's these small actions like having advocacies, having pushing for actions, that helps us to have a wide-reaching effect. So if we start having advocacies, we start doing awarenesses, we start doing responsible consumption, we start volunteering in organizational communities, we start having this conversation with our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues at work, it becomes a wide-reaching effect. So this is the entire gist of SDGs that I've been saying here since. So I'd like to stop there now so that I'll give room for questions and contributions. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm open to answer questions. I'm open to contributions so that we just have 15 minutes left so that we'll try and round up.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sefa Awen, for that enlightening presentation. We now have an opportunity to engage in a question and answer, like he rightfully said. So we'll be taking questions at this moment. And if you have any question or would like to dive deeper into any topic discussed, please type your question in the chat and we'll address them together.
Okay, while everybody is compiling their questions, you can send the question in the comment section, or you can indicate your interest by raising up your hand so that we are giving you the time to ask questions. So while we are waiting for the questions, I believe we all had a very impactful session with Mr. Sefa Awen. And I mean, we could all see how passionate he is about the SDGs. It seems that left only for him, he could just be going on and on and on and on, because he really seems to have a lot to say. So like you could see in the comment section, if you can go there, you see his profile. And Sefa Awen is the host of Fix It with Sefa, a very interesting program for, I would advise almost anybody among us to find time and follow him on his Facebook page, and you can have access to the programs. It comes up occasionally, and I promise you it's really, really impacting. And then I will also want to bring it to our information that as passionate as he is, he volunteers his services to us, his time, his resources, and is on a volunteering basis. I just told him, asked him to come and present for us, and he just came and he has literally blown all of our minds.
Honestly.
Yes. So
I think we have somebody wants
okay.
to ask a
all right.
question or make a contribution. So you can unmute and go on.
Good day, sir. Good day, Mr. Wayne. I'm so grateful for the lecture. Like what I learned here is the tree house, which support nature, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Kindly speak up so that we can hear you clearly, please. Thank you.
I said, thank you, Mr. Awen. I said, I'm grateful for the lecture. I learned about the 3 R's that support the environmental friendly practices, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now, I want to go to the part you said something about elements, that's sustainability. And here we have every small eco-friendly stuff matters. Now, I want to say something that whenever we visit communities, let me say the rural side, we have things like the trees, the nature, and we know that SDG covers the climate when it comes to climate as well. I think these days people are cutting down their trees because they are tired of sweeping and the rest of it. If we can also instill in these people that the cool air we normally get, which is those days when we go to the village, everybody sit outside and get the air, is good for the body, unlike that which is inside the house. I also heard you when you talk about people using cars like a kind of partnership or a thing of coming together to go to a particular place, maybe if they are heading to a particular place. And this remind me of communalism. But in the essence or part where communalism cannot come back, maybe, what if we learn, maybe we inculcate in them how to reuse things? Like I can remember then, can everyone hear me?
Yes, go on. Can hear you.
Yes, go on, yes.
So I'm saying it reminds me of communalism. And now I just remember that in those days when my mom, whenever we go to her bag, we find her wrap inside her bag. She doesn't know, maybe she might enter into the market and get things. And in this way, getting of leather and all these things perhaps are reduced. And just like you said, buying something and with leather and as it's called disposable, and here it deals with recycle. People can buy, and then when they are going back, if it's to the same place, or they know that it will be needed in where they are going to, they can take it to the shop they are heading to. And this way too, recycle has taken place. So I think if we can make these people understand, like we said, every small place matters. Yes, I think it will help in the eco-friendly participation and practices. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just add something else what you're saying. You have brought up very good concerns there. Most times we go to the market, we buy what we need in those big polythene bags. Personally, what I do is, if you see my house, and I have leather stashed up somewhere, plenty, because I'm not even comfortable throwing them away because I might need them somehow. So we can just keep this, pack them together. If you want, you can take it back and give back to these people whom you bought from, because they actually go back to back. You can give it to them, or you can find other means of making them useful, rather than just throwing them away or burning them, except they are destroyed, of course. Now, something else people do is that, in my neighborhood, for instance, there is this man that came from South Africa a few years back. So he bought a house, one of those estate houses that was already built long ago. They have trees around. You see, the government have planted trees in those estates. If you look at those estates that were built by the government back in the day, they planted a lot of trees in those estates. It is we, the individuals now, that buy these houses and cut down those trees because we want to extend our houses. Then we will now floor our houses, completely floored, because it comes off as, you are living in an advanced place in your life. However, this man built his house, cut down all the trees, flood the place, build a tall fence, no flowers, nothing, forgetting that Nigeria is a very hot place. Now, when that heat period comes, he comes to sit down under the bigger tree with us. He will carry his chair and come and sit with us. Then one day we asked him, why is he not sitting in his house? He said the place is too hot. We said, but that house was not always hot like that. So he was like, but he doesn't understand. So I explained to him that first of all, you cut down trees in the house. You flood everywhere. And what cement does, cement absorbs heat. Walls absorb heat.
Yes.
They absorb it during the day. Then at night, they start to release the heat they absorb. That's why when you sleep on close to the wall at night, you are most likely going to feel very hot. They absorb heat, they absorb cold as well. And we experience more heat than we experience cold. So by the time you flood your house and the heat period comes, you will likely run away from your house. So these are areas we need to consider. As we are doing landscape in your house, plant grass, plant trees, you don't have to flood the place because you'll be setting yourself up for some difficult times. So that contribution you made is very, very important. I just have to add this to that as well. These are not small things to do that cause a global ripple negative effect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that insightful response. And I feel like this shouldn't even end. Like, let's just continue. But most definitely we have to come to an end.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Mr. Cephas, for the presentation, and thank you for finding time to be among us. It's an honor, sir.
Thank you so much. And I will work on this slide, finalize them, then I'll send to Roger, then he can send to the other person. And feel free to keep conversation about this open. Roger can share my phone number with people. You can also try to follow each other on social media. My Facebook name is Sefa Awen. I always like to engage, to interact with people all the time. So if you need to call me, I also take calls as well. So we can keep this discussion going. And we also invite ourselves for meetings where we are discussing issues of SDG. So I will thank you very much for your active participation. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Rogers, for thinking about me for this. I really appreciate it. And I'm always here if you need me. So I would like to take my lead now.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
So moving forward on this section, there are some few strategies, some things that we can do to mobilize and inspire individuals towards taking eco-friendly action. First of all, we talk about awareness, going to the grassroots, workshop practices. Like, let's just take it to them, make a lot of them to understand that this is what SDG is all about. So those are some of the ways that we can inspire individuals into taking sustainable actions. Now, collective we have a sharing of resources and tools. There are so many online platforms that we can use to learn so much about sustainable actions. Like they say, knowledge is power, and there are many resources and tools available to deepen our understanding of eco-friendly action and sustainability. We'll go to websites. You can see even some of the times that you spend posting on your social media handles is a platform for you to start start letting the world know about SDGs and how to go about carrying out sustainable actions. So before we conclude on this section, remember our collective effort begins with individual action, and together we can create a lasting positive change. Before we conclude on enlightening the webinar, let's
can I add something?
All right, sir.
Yeah, my name is Tumain Charles Marjan. I'm speaking from East Africa, Tanzania. I'm very glad to be in this platform. My contribution is to thank all of you for organizing this session. I have one comment and advice. One is to take advantage of the household model, because we know the best teaching starts at home. For all our interventions, let us think how we can include the family as the backbone of our implementation strategy. For any innovation, for any model we are trying to implement, let us see how we can engage local families. It is a house-by-house implementation plan. To me, if the family, I mean the husband, the wife, and the kids can join hands in our campaign, we have that statement that remain strong locally and you can conquer the global. I understand whatever model will apply in Nigeria can also apply in Tanzania, can apply in Asia, can also apply in Latin America. So let us think how we can use the household as a game changer. That's my view for today, but warm regards from East Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's an honor to have you among us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming all the way from East Africa to be with us today. I hope you really enjoyed the section.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session, and I should tell you another advantage. I am also the regional focal point for Eastern Africa for the GEF CSO network. GEF is a global environmental facility. We have a network of more than 1,000 CSO globally and 700 in Eastern Africa. So I am happy to join you as well.
Yes, you can share the details about your organization in the comment section, and I promise you we'll try to connect with your organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much.
So before we go, I will just really love to add a little to this very, very impacting session. What we talked so far about is to advocate for the SDGs and to see how we can get everyone on board in adopting the measures for the Sustainable Development Goals. And our speaker made mention of car sharing as one of the upcoming ways to curtail excessive emission of carbon monoxide, which is good. And he also made mention of the packaging material that so many people, like so many eateries or shopping malls now are now using more natural and biodegradable products in their packaging. Also, when it comes to building materials, you see advanced research in building engineering will be telling you that the best resource to use and build sustainably is, of course, mud and straw. I believe all of us have seen at some point buildings where the blocks were made from mud and straw. But then recent advances in agriculture talking about permaculture, where instead of destroying an ecosystem, you study the ecosystem and try to model it and reproduce it or regenerate it as a means of agricultural practice. So if we see all these things, personally, I believe adopting the SDGs should not really be that hard on we, the Africans, because if you see all these suggestions that I listed here are typically the way of life of an African. I don't know if maybe I'm understood, but you see where most of eating or cooking utensils are made out of natural and biodegradable products. Like you see clay pots, you see food being wrapped in banana leaves or several other things. And it's always been a culture of sharing for we the Africans. So I believe it shouldn't be something new or alien to us. I believe it's even easier for us to adopt all these SDG measures. That's just my contribution.
Thank you so much for that very wonderful contribution. On this note, from everything that we have said, I would like to issue a call to action for each and every one of us. Let's take a moment to reflect on what eco-friendly action you commit to starting or continuing in your daily life. Share your commitments with others. Let's see how we can work together. And on doing that, you hold yourself accountable for it. I encourage friends and family to join you in these actions and spread the message of sustainability. As we near, so on the closing notes, we are way past time. So I would like to just conclude here by appreciating each and every one of us for being part of this section. It's really an honor having you guys here. And our deepest gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Sefa Awen. Your presence, all of you, your presence and commitment to sustainability have made this event a success. Remember that your action matters, and every step you take towards eco-friendliness is a step towards a better future for our planet. We encourage you all to stay connected with one another, share your progress, and continue taking eco-friendly actions in your daily life. So that together, we can drive positive change. Thank you all once again for joining us today. And may your journey towards a sustainable world be filled with inspiration, hope, and impactful action. Stay connected, stay eco-friendly, and let's make the world a better place with just
Thank
a
you.
small act.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Goodbye and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for this wonderful presentation, and thank you so much for making us part of this an inviting session. I want to take time to appreciate the organizers and everyone that found time to join this session. I really appreciate you guys for that. Please, it is my earnest desire that not only end today, but we can continue having sessions like this, which could actually serve as refreshers or reminders for us to sit strong and foster this SDGs.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I know we are closing, but Africa, we have the potential to change the world. And let us have this information that 65% of the Africa arable land is unutilized. Yet we lose around 5 million children annually with death, which are related to hunger. And also Africa import food outside Africa with 50 million US dollars. So what I would like to say, as just a statement, I know some have left already, that Africa has a potential to protect the climate and the environment, to reduce the adverse climate change. But also we should not forget, we have the obligation to feed our people without causing too much harm to the environment. So let us continue this education, empower people to know the importance of environmental conservation, as far as the Agenda 2030 is also concerned. But at the end, we should be able to conquer the world at the end, that Africa should lead in everything because of the endowment we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, friends.
And you too, sir. And you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Tanzania. Welcome to East Africa.
Thank you very much.
I believe when it's all said and done, we've had a very, very sound and very, very impacting session today. We have learned a lot, all have a lot to take home with us. For some of us who got to know about SDGs today, I think you have really been impressed, and your interest has been tickled. Now you go home and you see how you can contribute to going the SDGs. Thank you all for coming, and I believe we'll continue to engage and see how we all try in our little ways to make the world a better place. Thank you. Bye-bye.